Now at 6, residents in Parsons participate in a fun run to raise awareness about gun violence. Plus, Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh plays host to the Halfway Home Music and Arts Festival, and how a cyclist survived a jump off a bridge to avoid being killed by a car.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Forest Park in Parsons was filled with a sea of orange this morning, with community members coming together wearing orange for the weekend. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Anthony Saviello. The orange represents the color hunters wear to not be shot, and the Wear Orange Weekend is about raising awareness for gun violence in the United States. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
Dozens of t-shirts are strung up across Forest Park in Parsons, representing a voice that can no longer be heard.
It's a visual symbol because every day 120 people die from firearms and another 200 are injured. So we wanted to make a visual to imagine these are all people who die every day from firearms.
The shirts are part of an event organized by the Parsons chapter of the Mothers Demand Action Group, an organization advocating for gun safety and common sense gun law. The group joined hundreds of chapters across the country in holding an event to raise awareness on gun violence in the United States, particularly the rates in which children are affected.
We don't want your child to become a statistic. Every year 355 children accidentally shoot themselves or others. So that's something we can prevent.
Numerous community organizations are involved in the annual fun run, helping to provide information and resources on common sense gun safety and practices. Local law enforcement agencies are also present, giving out free gun locks, hoping to limit access to firearms for children and others.
When you have to pick up a gun and open up the lock, you have to actually think about what you're doing, and it gives you a moment to stop and think about those types of things.
Many attendees and volunteers at the event have a personal connection to someone impacted by gun violence. For many parents at the fun run, the thought of children being at risk hits close to home.
When I was in school, the drills that we had were fire drills, tornado drills. But my children went to school with active shooter drills their whole time, and that's not right. We, in America, our children shouldn't be killed by guns. This is the #1 killer. It should be some other accident, something that we can't control, not gun violence.
For organizers and volunteers, they say the event will be a success if even one person goes home to be a little bit safer.
We're not trying to take anyone's guns away. I grew up, my dad was an avid hunter, my husband's a hunter. That stuff, that's not what we're about. But just keeping them locked up, keeping them safe. It's about protecting people and just helping people with resources to make good decisions about their guns.
Reporting in Parsons, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The event held a fundraising drive for Safe House Crisis Center, an organization that assists people experiencing domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Organizers say individuals going through those types of crisis are more likely to be impacted by gun violence. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us with a first look at our weather.
Well, right now it's pretty sunny, but we do have clouds starting to roll in. Temperatures now dropping down to upper 80s, still around the 90s though. 91 out in Parsons, 95 in Independence, 94 in Sedan. So pretty warm day again, but we do have some more storms rolling in tonight. We had a few severe thunderstorms last night. Those are going to continue into the morning. We've already had one pass by, and we did also have a low risk yesterday, but we're moving into a elevated risk for severe weather, and it's mostly for all of our counties unless you're out in Bentonville. Other than that, we've got a 2 out of 5 threat for severe weather tonight. Already had one supercell pass out of our area, now has a severe thunderstorm warning, and all of our counties out in Missouri and a few of our counties in Kansas, right along that Kansas-Missouri border, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch, so we're expecting severe thunderstorms to be moving into the area a little bit later this evening, closer to about 11 p.m. tonight, but I'll have more details for you in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. A 2-vehicle crash on Range Line sends 2 people to the hospital. The crash occurred about 3 o'clock at 17th and South Range Line. Numerous witnesses tell us the driver of the SUV was ejected on impact. The car involved went over curbs and through landscaping, coming to a stop at the U.S. Cellular parking lot on the northwest corner. Joplin police say the two transported to hospitals suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities are still investigating what happened. Citizens in Pittsburgh had the opportunity to enjoy live music in Lincoln Park today at the Halfway Home Music and Arts Festival. Attendees could enjoy music from 7 bands across 6 genres, including hard rock, country, Americana, and more. Proceeds from today's event go to revitalizing the J.J. Richards band shell.
A great time. I guess that would be the thing you would want for every concert. I want them to be aware that we started with just multi-genres too. I didn't want this to be a country festival. I didn't want it to be a red dirt festival. My preference is metal. It isn't a metal fest. We have all genres of music, and I wanted to touch everyone that's willing to come out and sit in the park and listen to music all day.
Future festivals are planned for Fort Scott and Parsons. It is the story of survival. A Missouri man was forced to jump for his life to avoid an SUV. He fell 22 feet from a bridge and waited 13 hours for help. Justina Cornell has the story.
It's like every movie you've ever seen. I went like this to grab the thing.
Jeremiah Koch recovers and recalls where he was a week ago, biking on a bridge near Herman on Highway 19.
I went into town for a bite and came back. And then I spent the rest of my birthday on the ground.
May 29th is a day that tested him. A driver approached him as he biked by.
He's getting closer and closer. I move a little bit to the side. He's matching me, these types of things. So it was very obvious this guy was out to, kill or hurt or harm somebody.
The pressure squeezed Koch, forcing him into a decision to get hit or jump off. And it was a leap of faith for the martial arts instructor.
In martial arts, they teach you how to fall correctly, and that's pretty much all I've ever done. And I can attribute that Hapkido break falls have saved my life.
He dropped feet below.
They say it's 22 feet, but it felt like an eternity.
And then he waited 13 hours for help.
I was yelling for help, whatever. But I'm under Highway 19, underneath a bridge. Nobody's going to hear you.
He broke multiple bones, including his back. Despite hearing coyotes and working with limited food and water, Koch was committed.
The mental fortitude, the emotional stability, don't panic, stay calm. What's the next thing? Survivability.
It's a lesson he's used to teaching, and it became a practice he used himself. After hours under the bridge, he made a move to be visible.
I set small goals, 3 feet at a time. It paid off. It paid off. That last push paid off. If I would have stayed underneath the bridge, I would be done. There ain't no way.
2 pedestrians walked by.
And I just light up, man. I mean, it's just everything I had. Just screaming. And the guy, I'll never forget, he just pokes his head over the side and he goes, "Hey, man, need some help?" And I'm like, yes, I do.
While nothing prepares you for this moment, his practice became a protector. Patience in perspective is the foundation to his lessons, and now the foundation for his fight.
You have to stay calm and you have to chunk through your problem in order to survive.
Coming up, the town of Altamont holds its annual Flag Day celebration, plus a look back to one of the most significant manhunts in history. The city of Altamont held its annual Flag Day celebration. The all-day celebration included some usual staples such as turtle races and a water balloon toss, as well as some new events like a quilt show and an esports tournament. A $500 medallion hunt was also held during the week leading up to the event. On this day in history, June 8th, 1968, authorities in London arrested James Earl Ray, the man accused of murdering civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. Ray was apprehended when he tried to board a plane for Brussels. He was charged with possessing a fraudulent Canadian passport and carrying a revolver without a permit. U.S. officials called for his extradition to charge him with the King assassination. The search for Ray was considered one of the most extensive in police history. In Thursday night's Cubs-Reds baseball game, Reds' Ellie De La Cruz hit a home run to the right field stands. A lady in a red shirt tries to catch the ball with her cup full of beer, but the ball smashed the cup and the beer spilled all over a Cubs fan. The game's commentators could be heard laughing at the scene. Both the lady and with the cup and the man who ended up with the beer all over his lap both appear to be okay afterwards. NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore gave a tour of the International Space Station today. Both astronauts, the first crew to fly on the Starliner spacecraft. Wilmore and Williams arrived at the station aboard Starliner on Thursday, June 6th, one day after the spacecraft was launched on a ULAV rocket from Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. As a part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, the Boeing Crew Flight Test will help validate the transportation system, launch pad, rocket spacecraft, in-orbit operation capabilities, and return to Earth with astronauts aboard as the agency prepares to certify Starliner for rotational missions to the space station. A little later, one climate expert is claiming higher temperatures are the new norm.
And we do have some thunderstorms moving into the area later on this evening. We'll talk about that right after the break. Well, we've had some storms late into the evening earlier, but we do have another round moving in tonight as well. Let's go ahead and take a look outside at downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. A little cloudy out there. We do have a few showers already pushing in to our northern counties. They are moving out right now, though. Turned into a severe thunderstorm warning just as it exited our area, but we are under a severe thunderstorm watch until about 1 a.m. tonight. And that's for all of our counties out in Missouri, not to mention a few of our counties on that Missouri and Kansas border as well. Like I said, in effect until 1 a.m. tonight. Now we do have a few more storms starting to push in. You can start to see them firing up, still out near Colorado, moving into Wichita area this evening and through our area after midnight tonight. So we'll keep an eye on it. We are expecting a few severe thunderstorm warnings, hail, strong wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. But outside of that, we're not really going to see a tornado likely, but we still can't rule anything out. We've got an elevated risk, so it went up from a low risk to an elevated risk today for nearly all of our counties. Unless you are out in Arkansas, then you're still in a low risk. Tomorrow, we still have a few more storms passing by in the early morning hours, giving us another low risk. But the main threat is going to be hail and winds. Winds are an elevated risk for all of our counties. Wind gusts up to 60, 65 miles per hour. And then we've got hail, ping pong ball sized hail, and possibly getting up to $50 sized hail as well. Now, we do have still a low risk for a tornado possibly being firing up. With some of these individual supercells, rotation can spin up pretty quickly, so always be weather aware. We're expecting these storms coming in after midnight, so even closer to about 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we start to see that chance jump up to about 60%. It lasts until 10 a.m. in the morning, and then we drop down a little bit for the afternoon. We do have those chances continuing, so let's go ahead and take a look at that future track. So we've got that one storm pushing out, but it starts to kind of rotate back in as that boundary moves in, and then it'll lift a little bit north as the other storms start to fire up along this cold front boundary. So we've seen temperatures in the 80s and 90s the last couple days. After this front moves through, temperatures drop to the mid to upper 70s for the next several days. So we are dropping in temperatures, and it's going to be pretty drastic of a drop since we've been experiencing these really warm temperatures for a couple of days. So about 1 a.m. we start to see these lines of storms pushing into our counties. We've got one nice supercell looking like it's going to develop, and as it continues out of our area, it does start to dissipate, and then those storms will continue until the morning. Rain showers, scattered rain showers throughout the day on Sunday as well. Starts to clear out for the afternoon, and then we've got a nice warm sunny day on Monday. Like I said, temperatures drop down to the mid 70s. We've got a rainy day on Tuesday, but this looks to be like our last severe threat for this severe weather season.
Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for a break.
Yes,
that would be lovely.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. A climate expert warns that the continued rise of global temperatures will become the new norm. A professor of atmospheric science at Texas A&M University says humans will have to get used to the permanent hot climate. Dressler is among climate groups like the European Union's Copernicus and the World Meteorological Association watching and measuring climate change. Copernicus declared May 2024 the hottest on record. Dressler says the Earth is a body and a rising fever is making it sicker and sicker. Still ahead, the Joplin Outlaws look to stay undefeated on their home field.
The Joplin Outlaws have been playing baseball for just over the last 2 weeks. Joplin is currently in second place in the Mid-American League standings. Well, we begin Game 2 of the series tonight. Joplin plays the Piney Woods Timberhogs at Joe Becker Stadium. Outlaws beat Piney Woods 11-4 in last night's series opener. First pitch is at 7:05 p.m. We'll have the highlights from the game right here tonight at 10. The Kansas State Wildcats are playing in Game 2 of their Super Regional. K-State lost Game 1 to Virginia last night, so the Cats need to win this afternoon to keep their season alive. K-State put up a great fight the past 2 nights, but the Cats come up just short. The Virginia Cavaliers beat Kansas State 10-4. The Wildcats season unfortunately comes to an end. Virginia is on their way to Omaha to the College World Series. Royals versus Mariners. Very first pitch of the game here. Seattle wasting no time. J.P. Crawford visits the hydration station. Solo home run. Mariners lead it 1-0. We go to the bottom of the second now. Tied up game 1-1. Adam Frazier uses the boomstick with some dynamite here. That ball leaves the yard. Solo bomb. Royals lead 2-1 now. We go to the fifth inning. Game tied again. 2 on, 2 out for Vinny Pasquantino. Rips this ball fair, and that clears all the bases as everyone scores. And the Royals lead once again. Kansas City is now up 5-3, and we get a Sasquatch sighting out there at the K. We head to the sixth inning now. Kyle Isbell really starting to hit the ball well lately. He keeps this fair down the line. Nick Lofton scores all the way from first base, and it's a 2-run double for Isbell. Royals win again, 8-4. Kansas City has now won 3 straight. At Busch Stadium this afternoon, the Cardinals are home against the Colorado Rockies. St. Louis battled back in this game, but couldn't score the game-tying run. Good to see Matt Carpenter come back and hit a home run to dead center, but the Rockies beat the Cardinals 6-5. Well, rising women's basketball superstar Caitlin Clark is not expected to be on the United States Olympic women's basketball roster. Team USA leaves for Paris in just over a month from now. Clark was selected as the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft this last April, as she currently plays for the WNBA's Indiana Fever. Well, that's a look for sports. We're back after this.
Together, the collective age of the bride and groom was nearly 200, but World War II veteran Harold Terrans and his sweetheart, Jeanne Swerlin, proved that love is eternal as they tied the knot Saturday inland of the D-Day beaches in Normandy, France. Their respective ages, he's 100 and she's a youngster at just 96. They made their nuptials and almost double-century celebration. Terrans called it the best day of his life. That's super sweet. But speaking of weddings, one of our very own, let's pull up the picture of them right now. Hey. Ron and Paulette. Ron is a producer here at KOAM, and we're very happy. He is getting married to his now wife, I would assume. They started their celebrations today. Very, very happy for them, and awesome. We wish them the best.
Yeah, I'm sad we couldn't make it. Yeah. Unfortunately, we were here. We had to be here. But
we're shouting you out on the news. Yeah. So, absolutely.
Sending lots of love.
He deserves it.
Final weather.
Well, we do have some storms, which, hey, it's always good luck raining on your wedding day.
That's true.
But we do have some storms rolling in tonight. They could be severe. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until about 1 a.m. And it starts to clear out later on Sunday morning. So keep an eye out. Be weather aware tonight.
For sure. Final sports note.
Joplin Outlaws look to stay undefeated at home. First 500 kids that show up get a free t-shirt sponsored by, KOAM.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's our time for tonight. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.